Hi, everyone. I'm Klaud Rains, and I'm the founder, executive producer, and lead director here at Cloud9 Productions. I apologize to our subscribers, first of all, for the delay in releasing Bojinka 3. The holiday season and major productions, it turns out, don't mix well. To help make up for this delay, I've arranged a mini interview between myself as well as the lead actors in the first two installments of the Bojinka series. We're joined today by Jackson Hastings, who portrayed World News Tonight anchor David Sheppard in Bojinka Parts 1 and 2, as well as Tess Hogue, who portrayed his co-host Carol Stanley. I will ask Jackson and Tess 4 questions, and then they each get to ask me 2 of their own. And then there's a bonus question at the end for a total of 9 questions and answers. So, let's begin.
Yeah, so I really like being a part of creative projects, and I think voice acting is one of the best ways for me to contribute to those. I'm really comfortable in front of a microphone, and I feel like I can portray like a wide variety of voices and personalities. Everything from wacky to serious to lighthearted. Admittedly, a dream of mine for many years has been to voice act in a video game, so I'm hoping to eventually work my way up to that.
Funny enough, when I first started this, I thought I would be narrating audiobooks. And while that's still not outside the realm of possibility, I have found out that I am having so much fun as a character actor. And that is something I definitely want to continue doing.
Well, I'm certainly honored to be playing one of the leads. I'm a little surprised but flattered that my voice is that wanted for a project. But mostly I like how it's a multi-part series. Everything else I've been a part of so far has been more like a one-off project, whereas this one is a saga of sorts, and it's cool to see the character that I play develop and change in response to what's happening in the story. It kind of makes me feel like I'm a part of something big.
I find the Bojinka series absolutely fascinating. When 9/11 happened, it threw my world upside down, and to know that we were able to find out the actors behind that because of what was something that almost happened but didn't, it kind of blows my mind. So to know that I can reenact something that didn't happen, thankfully, it's super cool.
I will admit I'm definitely still a newcomer myself, so I don't know how much value my advice has at this stage, but maybe hearing it from someone who is also new will be useful to someone out there. So I'd say the biggest thing is don't be afraid to try things. Right? So put yourself out there a bit. You don't need a big fancy microphone right away or a recording room, though I've heard those things are a big help down the line. But for starters, just focus on the voice acting itself and getting yourself some experience.
For new voice actors, I would say just have fun. Find something that makes you smile. And if you're able to make a career out of it, awesome. But don't go into it thinking that this is going to be your meal ticket. This is a creative thing, and like all creative things, if it happens for you, it's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of time, and not just talent. Talent is always there, but you're also going to need some coaching. You're going to need a lot of learning. It's actual work. Voice acting can be a lot of fun, but it's more than just sitting behind a microphone and making funny noises. So just have fun, but also keep everything in perspective.
I have had a lot of fun being a part of this team. At first I was definitely nervous since I didn't really know anyone, and I felt a lot of responsibility due to having one of the lead roles. But everyone here has been really supportive and friendly. I've gotten on a Discord call with some of the other cast members a few times to run through the script, and it was a fun experience.
I love working as part of this team. Everybody is very collaborative, super supportive. There's always, an exchange of ideas. Creativity is uplifted. Nobody feels, at least I've never felt, stifled. And that is so important, especially in a creative outlet. So it's been amazing so far, and I can't wait to see what happens next.
I'm honestly just curious to see where it goes. It's one thing to be a voice actor for a project where you know the entire plot beforehand, but it's a completely different experience to learn about what's happening as you go. I mean, it's kind of nice in a way. I'm learning about the events just as David Sheppard does, which makes my reactions and expressions much more genuine as I record. If I knew exactly what was going to happen from the very beginning, it probably would have made it a lot harder to put the right feeling into my lines. As for the story itself, I think alternate history stories are super cool, and this plot definitely has stakes that are very high, and I'm curious to see how much it escalates on a global scale. I'm always asking myself, what will happen when the dust settles, if it ever does?
And as a fan of Bojinka, because I'm definitely a fan, how much worse can it get? And do the good guys ultimately win at the end? As a super romantic, I want the good guys to win, and I'm interested to see, number one, if that's going to happen, and number two, if it does, how do we pull it out at the end?
Honestly, I'm just really interested in history in general, and so I write about things that I find interesting. I'm a 90s kid, I grew up watching disaster movies, Armageddon, Twister, Independence Day, and so I've always had a taste for things involving action. And history, when you look at it, is full of action. And when it comes to alternate history, there's a lot of cases where certain actions could have changed a lot of things. It's fascinating to think about and ponder, once you understand how history affects the present, it's fascinating to think about how a different history could mean a very different present. That's really, I think, the main inspiration behind the Bojinka series. All the themes and morals are afterthoughts, honestly. I just want to explore a new world and sort of compare and contrast that world with our own. The themes and morals kind of come from that naturally, so for the most part, I'm just thinking about where these actions could logically lead from an objective historical perspective, because that in and of itself is what I find really interesting. Ooh, that's a tough one. I wanted to say endings at first, but sometimes a good ending will come to me. What's really difficult is when a good ending does come to me, and I've got a strong start, but now I have to figure out a way to connect those two. I'd say in general the third quarter of any given plotline is the hardest for me to write. Which may sound basic on the surface, but there's a lot of things that most stories generally have in common during that third quarter. What should the climax be, and how do you set up that climax? What's the aftermath? How have the characters grown as people, and how do you reflect that? All of this kind of stuff often comes during the third quarter of a story, and that's really where the brain gets its most exercise. Not always. What I have always been interested in is history itself. It was through an interest in the Cold War era that I learned about an alternate history writer by the name of Harry Turtledove. Now, I know he's a controversial writer, and I have to admit I've not read a single word from any of his books, but I did read about them on Wikipedia, and I liked the general concept. I decided to take a more grounded and realistic approach with my own writing, trying to craft immersive worlds that feel almost as if they could exist in the form of some other universe. Research. Research gives me an excuse and a reason to learn new things about history or about how things work. I love to learn new things about subjects that I can apply to my writing. And the best part of the writing process for me is by far being able to weave an intricate web using real-life facts as ingredients, and then filling in the blanks with imagination rooted in speculation. My favorite questions to ask myself always begin with, what if?
So yeah, thanks again for having me here. I'm happy to answer these questions. I go by Jackson or Synergenesis, which is my online name. This is probably the biggest project I've ever been a part of to date, so I don't really have anything else to promote. So I guess keep an eye out for me in the future if you want. I also make digital music for independent projects, like some visual novels, some video games. And then before I go, just a general closing remark for those listening. Life is hard sometimes, but whatever you're going through, hang in there, please. It will get better, even if it doesn't seem that way right now. Alright, that's all for now. David Sheppard signing off. Goodbye.
I just want to say thank you for having me be a part of this production. I was deeply honored and flattered when I was asked to be a part of it, and I look forward to working with you in future projects. And while I don't have anything to promote at the moment, I do have a website. It is listentotess.com, and if you want to reach out through email, it's tess@listentotess.com. And I just want to thank everybody who has taken their time out of their day to listen to this absolutely wonderfully written story. And I look forward to any interaction that we have with any fans now and in the future. So thank you so much.
Thank you all for enjoying our content, and we're all stoked to have you along for the ride as we tell our stories. Don't forget that I do more than just write and direct audio dramas. I still create soundscapes, and I have a great series ongoing now called Tours Through Time. Using music, photos, and news audio clips, Tours Through Time transports you through each decade, starting at 1940 and continuing to the present day. It's up to the 2000s currently, and the 2010s and a partial 2020s will be on the way shortly. Thank you for being fans of Bojinka, and thanks for following Cloud9 Productions. Please check out Tours Through Time, and have a Happy New Year. Goodbye.